I got something of Alice in Wonderland. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I don't collect Alice in Wonderland. I don't really have anything. I mean, if you take a look at my background, you can guess what my main collections are. Actually, I do have something, and that's the Unibear over here. And if you count the Unibear Tsum Tsum, I guess you can say I do have one item that is from that Disney movie, but I bought something big recently. And it is a haul that I'm going to share in this video, and it's only going to be focusing on one item because it was a pretty big purchase. And I'm still kind of reeling from the fact that I made a big purchase on a Disney movie that I don't really have a collection of, or I don't really normally care for. But this is what happens a lot with the Disney scene in Japan. And because of the concept designs and the art style, more often than not, you come to appreciate or care a little more than usual about things that you normally don't care about. And for me, Alice in Wonderland is one of those things. I've seen a movie a couple of times, but I definitely wouldn't call myself a fan. But it just so happens that Japan loves Alice in Wonderland. There is almost like an exclusive merchandise across several stores just featuring her and this wonderful wacky world of hers. And she is a very, very popular character to feature in a lot of merchandise. And it just so happens that very recently, the Japan Disney store released something called Sleep Day merchandise, and I'm not joking when I say Sleep Day. They're featuring characters sleeping, especially that from classic Disney movies. And there were 3 movies that were featured in this particular merchandise lineup. We had, of course, Alice in Wonderland, and then Bambi, and Lady and the Tramp. And among those 3, I got something from the world of Alice in Wonderland. Japan Disney does an amazing job whenever they feature her in any merchandise. And more oftentimes than I'd like to admit, I find myself thinking that I wish I was into Alice. I wish I was an Alice in Wonderland fan because she just has the coolest merchandise. Maybe it's because she's not a Disney princess. With the Disney princess, they tend to gear more of that kind of merchandise towards children. It's very feminine, it's very girly. But with Alice, a lot of the times I've found that the merchandise is more or less geared towards a more mature audience or an older demographic. And especially taking the wacky concept that is Wonderland, a lot of the merchandise is very unique in the sense that it's unusual. It's something that you don't normally see. And that's what I really appreciate about Alice in Wonderland merchandise here in Japan. And you'll see what I mean when I share with you that one big ticket item that I got. So I don't normally do this on this channel, but I'm going to be turning the camera around so we can just focus entirely on the item itself. I ordered this through the Disney store online, and sure enough, it was one of the more popular items within the lineup because it sold out within like 30 minutes from the time it was set to release. And this was released in like the 3rd week of February, and this is still sold out. There was no sign of restock. I did, however, still see a couple of boxes in the physical Disney stores. It's definitely a lot more stressful to buy online because things happen, you know, with the internet, with servers. You never know if your order actually goes through, and fortunately mine did. And even though I don't normally collect her, I was still pretty chuffed that I was able to get a hold of one of them online. And I'm really glad that I purchased it online as opposed to doing it in person at the store, because when I lifted the box, it was quite heavy. Now, here's one of the great things about ordering from the Disney store online. Whenever you do, your stuff comes in a box that has a design that is exclusive to that of the Disney store online. It's a very special box, and it's definitely one of the ways that they entice people to order online. So let's turn the camera around and I'll show you that special original box design. And the special design that is featured in this box is Tsum Tsum. My last box had Frozen 2 featured on it, and I will put a link to that video if you're interested in checking out what that design looks like. What's great about this box is that each side of the box features different characters. So this one is of Winnie the Pooh and friends. And going to the other side, it's still a continuation of Pooh Bear and his friends. Let's see what's on the other end. It is of Mickey and friends. This time we have Minnie and Donald. I love that. I love that there's a tower of Donald here. Oh, Pluto. That's awesome. Let's go over to the other side. And the other side is a continuation of Mickey and Friends. And that's really interesting to see a tower of Chip and Dale. That's quite rare. Remember the craze that was Tsum Tsums? I think it's coming back in Japan. There's like a lot more releases this year. A lot of times, some Tsums are selling out. And that's really surprising to me. They're kind of making a comeback. Now let's get into the contents of this box. So this is what the box came in. It was wrapped up in this very cute bag. I love it because it's my bias. Donald and Daisy over here, and it says a touch of magic filled with love. That is the motto of the University line. And sure enough, if we check the back, we do have their Unibears. Here is the Unibear of Daisy, and right next to her is the Unibear of Donald. If you want to know more about the beautiful thing that is University, I did a video explaining all about the ins and outs of Unibear, and I'll put a link in the description, so be sure to check it out. So let's get into the box. And right off the bat, we have Alice and Dinah, and they are taking their afternoon nap, and this is the name of the merchandise line, Sleepy Time. Ooh, put that to the side. It is a white and gray box. It's very simple. There's really nothing much to it. I like that there are a couple of Z's there in the corner. And over here we have the price of the item at 6,500 yen plus tax, which came out to about 7,000 yen. Blank space on the other side. Yep, it's a pretty straightforward box. So let's take her out. And here is a hint to what it is. Table clock. It's funny that it isn't in Japanese, right? A lot of the times Disney merch, even at Tokyo Disney, has English words. Okay, so here is just some manual stuff, your standard stuff. I will hide that because it shows the design of the item, and I think we both want to be pleasantly surprised with the unboxing. Ooh, that's a lot of styrofoam. Alright, I've cut through the tape. Time for the reveal. Oh my gosh. Wow. It is so much more gorgeous in person. So here is the table clock. Take that out of the packaging. What? The hands are moving. There's a battery already installed in this. That's awesome. I don't have to go through the trouble of going out and buying one and putting it in. And here we have the big ticket item that I totally splurged on. I could not resist because look how beautiful it is. Look at all the detail. Look at Alice and Dinah. They're so pretty. I'm so happy about the paint job. Normally I'm so paranoid that there would be scuff marks or scratches or there would be missing paint and splotches here and there, but it seems like they did a really good job with the paint this time. So I'm really happy about that. And there are flowers that are surrounding the teacup clock all around, which I really love. It really adds splashes of color to the white tea set. The clock is a teapot, which I thought was just amazing. And look at the fine detailing around the clock. Such nice flourishes. And you can see that on the rim of the cup also. The same flourishes. And oh my gosh, there are pearls around the rim of the teacup as well. All the small details. Seriously, this is what Japan Disney does best. It's all in the fine details. And oh my gosh, even on the lid of the teapot. Wow, I'm just so blown away. This is a heavy clock. I can't carry it with one hand. I'm afraid I'll drop it. I have to hold it with both hands. That's how weighty this thing is. And at the top, we have Mr. White Rabbit. In his classic costume. They did a really good job with the colors. This is what I mean by the level of quality and creativity that Japan Disney puts into Alice in Wonderland merchandise. It makes you want to become a fan or a collector of this movie. And there we have it, the Alice in Wonderland table clock. From the top down, it looks just as good. Now we can take a look at that little manual that came with the table clock. So this explains how you can exchange the battery. You would essentially have to take out the clock and you can separate it from the teapot, and then you would unscrew it so that you can take off the back piece, and that's how you access the battery. It's pretty straightforward. Well, I hope you enjoyed going through that as much as I did. And if you'd like to support me, a thumbs up is always appreciated, and I hope you'll consider subscribing and hitting that bell. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.